The bifold door in this kitchen needed to be replaced. This is the new door, 6-panel bifold door, very common item in a North American household. The old one split apart at the corners. Here are two pieces of the old one. This is the bottom part of the old one and this is the top. You can see it's spectacularly coming apart everywhere. And it's not only $78 for the replacement of the door, that's completely unnecessarily spent in the first place. Mind you, the broken door does need a replacement, but it doesn't have to be broken in the first place. So what failed here, or what's wrong here, is that the door opening, the finished door opening, is too narrow. The straight door does fit the opening, but when the door is folded in the middle, the corners need a little extra clearance. So when the straight ones fit this way, the rotating ones don't necessarily fit. Okay, the rotating door here at the corners needs extra room. That's why it's splitting at the corner. And this was at the bottom. You can see the progression of this problem here, where the wood here has been chewed up, or it looks like it's sanded down or abraded down. The reason for it is that there's a bracket on the floor. You can see it there. It looks like this. This is a new one, and it has a serrated edge here. In this serrated edge, this lower pivot point goes in. Not this way. This is the one that came from the old door on the floor, okay? But this was in that position there. And what happens to this pivot point is that because the folding door needs an extra clearance at the corners, it gets pushed into the bolts that are here holding the bracket in place in the first place. So these two screws go into the wall right there, and this screw just is on the floor going into the floor between two tiles. So this screw head is not a problem because there is enough clearance here, but these two screw heads are interfering with the door as it's being opened. And what you can see here on the old corner here is that no amount of the screws and washers and this Mickey Mouse nonsense that was being made here is going to fix the fact that the door is too wide in this direction, or the finished opening here is just too narrow for the door. And the fix is obvious, other than replacing the $78 door, is the new one needs to be cut down just I don't know, maybe 2 millimeters, something like that, very little. You can see the door panels are hollow on the inside, and there is enough wood here at the edges there and there, as well as same on the other panel. So it's possible to cut down, I don't know, 5 millimeters easily. Say half an inch, 10 millimeters, that would be pushing it. But this much is easily removed. I'm going to do that with this block plane, just very simply, and I'm also going to do it asymmetrically. I'm also going to do it a little bit this way, so not removing from the whole width of the wood, maybe just a little bit, because this is a pivoting corner that's interfering with the closing of the door. So let me get you a close-up what happens here, why the corner of the door is being pushed into the bolt head. The reason for it is because of this extra rotating clearance is, let me just get you off the tripod here and get you close here to these bolt heads. This new door, you can see that with my repeated retakes I started peeling off the outside layer on the door skin as well. So when I push this door closed, what's going to happen, that corner there hits the wall and is pushing this pivot point that way along this serrated bottom bracket. So just watch it. It's going to move several of these serrations there. So now the door is closed. It's straight and flat. But when it's being opened in this position, the screw head is going to start lifting off the door skin thereabouts. So that's what ripped apart this door. Well, actually what ripped apart the door is that the opening is just too narrow. So I'm going to move the whole door, not going to open it any further. I was just opening it like so. I'm going to move it back along this bottom bracket like so, so that the screw heads are not interfering with the opening. And in this position, we're back to the same spot. It doesn't fully close without the bottom bracket jumping several teeth there. Okay, so that's what's wrong with this door, and that's how it's going to be fixed. And no amount of this Mickey Mouse fixing with more screws and more washers is ever going to work out. You have to address the original problem, that the finished opening is too narrow, and you have to shave a little bit off the door, especially the corners, like on an angle a little bit, for the additional cornering radius. So that's how it should have been fixed 15 years ago when the door was put in.